Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to check your attendance book based on the viewers and based on the comment section. But I'm going to have your ano din also with your exams. Okay, short quiz via Google form of the discussion that we have this afternoon. So let us now start our lesson for this afternoon. So we will discuss the inclusive education in the Philippine perspective, and this material is based from Ma'am Kiano, which is a professor in is under Secretary of Program and Projects in the Department of Education. So, general information on inclusive education, facts and figures, policies, strategies for disadvantaged learners, children with disabilities, IPs. So, what do you mean by IPs? These are the indigenous people, the Muslim children, street children, abused children, current difficulties and challenges, the lesson learned, and proposed initiatives and recommendations. So, general information on the inclusive education, children with disabilities, child laborers, abused children, children of indigenous people and Muslim children, and street children. So, can you please give me examples of children with disabilities? Sige po, ano po ba yung mga ano natin, mga children with disabilities? Paki-comment sa ating comment section. Ano po ba ito ng mga children with disabilities? Okay, lame, deaf, blind, deaf and mute. So these are examples of children with disabilities. Okay, so let us now proceed with also the child laborers, abused children. Okay, so who are these mga abused children? Please comment in the comment section. Yung abused children, who are they? Okay, these are according to Jean Banzuela. An example for this is the battered child. Okay, what else? Sino pa ang may sagot? Bukod doon sa battered child. These are also, they are also the victim of rape cases or violence against children, diba? So these are example of abused children and of indigenous people and Muslim children and street children. So these are very self-explanatory. When it comes to facts and figures, children with disabilities who are in school are about 100,762, and children with disabilities are still combating educational exclusion. So 97.3% of them are still unreached. About 5,116 are mainstream and regular classes. Can you please give me reason why there are still unreached? Bakit kaya may mga hindi pa rin na nakakapasok sa mainstream ng special education? Please comment your idea. According to Jean Bensuela, the children is far from the school. Very good. Poverty. Okay. Sometimes it is. What else? Poverty, according to Evan Carlo. And according to Abbott, it is poverty. And another comment is financial problem. And mostly financial problem. Okay. So sometimes also discrimination can be example, can be reason, lack of gadgets or materials also according to Maricar Awel. And sometimes because of poverty. Okay. So these are reason po why there are unreached. Okay, next is children of indigenous people number about 12 to 15 million across the country. These are spread in 7 ethnographic areas with 117 ethno-linguistic groups. Those are in the elementary schools total of 639,483, eh, while 158,550 are in the secondary schools. So another one is the Muslim elementary and secondary pupils are attending alive Arabic language and Islamic values education in public schools. So meaning also the Muslim are in formal education. Street children are about 246,000. 75% are children on the streets. 25% are children of the streets and 70% are boys. Working children are going in number. Number of abused children is being tracked down. Okay. So what can you say? Why there are so many boys in on the streets? Sige nga. Bakit maraming mas marami? What is the reason why many boys are in on the streets? Paki-comment. Okay, according to Abet, mas may kapasidad daw silang magtrabaho ang mga ano. Sa mga Facebook user po, katulad sa mga Facebook user po, para mabasa nyo ang inyong pangalan, paki-click ng link sa caption na itong when streaming on a common stream would show names or pictures, click learn more in order to show like this one. Itong katulad nito ngayon kay Abet na nakikita ngayon ang kanyang pangalan sa FB live streaming ko. Okay. Sabi naman ni ano, ito katulad nito walang pangalan, pero sabi niya they are forced to work. Mas nagiging ano daw because boys only can work in street. So these are the reasons why many boys are on the streets. Okay. And that is based on walang kinalaman dito ang gender in development ha. It is based on the research or studies that more boys are on the streets. What are the education policies when it comes to inclusive education? The right to education is a basic human right. Let us remember that. All children and youth shall have access to quality education. Inclusive education shall be concerned with all learners with focus on those who have traditionally been excluded from educational opportunities. Support systems shall be organized and delivered holistically. The first question is comment all the rights that you know. Paki-comment lahat ng karapatan ng pamtao at pambata ang alam nyo. Okay, very good. Karapatang makapag-aral, sabi ni Evan Carlo. Then, sabi naman ni Joms Bigueras, karapatang makapag-aral, right to education. This is the very, very important right that we must know, ano, yung right to education. Kaya kung bakit po, and sabi naman ni Johnny Israel, right to suffrage, then right to have a name or right to education. Okay, thank you so much for your for your answers. These are um, very good observation. Yan, karapatan ng mga bata na lagaan. Okay, so very good. Let us know. The next question is, who are the support system of these children? Who are the support system of these children? Okay, so the support system of these children Yan, kalimitan po mga sagot, family, parents, sponsors, friends. So these are very important. So these are family, school, and community where they belong. Okay. So the government also can be considered as a support system. Okay. Walang boses ba? Pero meron. Ayun naman. Okay. Next is, these are the public policy support on inclusive education, the 1987 Philippine Constitution, PD 603, the Child and Youth Welfare Code, RA 7610, Special Protection of Children Against Child Abuse, Exploitation and Discrimination Act, and the RA 72727, the Magna Carta for Disabled Persons, amended by RA 9442, and Policies and Guidelines in Special Education. So let us be guided of this legal basis or legal mandates of inclusive education. Why there is inclusive education? Because it is stated in the Philippine Constitution, Child and Youth Welfare Code, Special Protection for Children, the Magna Carta for Disabled Persons, and Policies and Guidelines in Special Education. Next is the UN Conventions on the Rights of the Child. Yan. So, the rights of the child is anchored to human rights. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng karapatang pambata ay mula din sa karapatang pantao. Okay? World Declaration on Education for All and the Salamanca Statement and Framework for Action. So what is the meaning of inclusion? Number one is reaching out to all learners. Okay, reaching out to all learners. Give a program in the Department of Education wherein the DepEd is reaching out to the pupils. Isa doon, for example, early registration. Ang early registration is an example of early early I early registration is an example of reaching out to pupils. Why? Why? Kasi yung mga teachers nagkakaroon ng child mapping. Hinahanap nila yung mga bata na wala pa sa school and they will encourage pupils to enroll. Ano pa? Magbigay pa ng example na kung saan yung mayroong reaching out. Yan, the early childhood development. Okay. And what else? Yan, very good. Balik-aral program or the ALS. Very good. So mayroong ano na pinapabalik ano sa paaralan. 'Di ba? Ano pa? Meron din silang yan, brigada sa pagbasa. Then, meron din tayong program sa Department of Education na home visitation. Anong ibig sabihin nito? That the parents are that the parents are ay that the teacher are what going to their houses and will conduct intervention programs. So this is an example of reaching out to children, addressing and responding to the diversity of needs of all children, youths, and adults. So there is what? Pag sinabi nating diversity means we are catering different kind of learners. Involves changes and modification in content, approaches, structures, and strategies. So this time of pandemic, there is a big modification in content. Dati, mayroon tayong tinatawag na learning competencies. But by this time, dati Philippine Education Learning Competencies, BECPEL. But by this time, it is MELC, Most Essential Learning Competencies. There is a big modification in content, approaches, strategies, and structures. Why? Because there is no face-to-face. Diba? Okay. Strategies in inclusive education for disadvantaged learners, the program, curriculum, learning materials, facilities, and equipment. Okay. So children with disabilities. So education system has full responsibility to ensure right to education. Yung mga sinagot nyo kanina, tama po ito, and these are based on the assessment and based on the support system. It is equipped and ready to handle diversity through flexible modified curriculum, teaching and learning methods, adaptation, augmentation, and alteration. And we gave remediation or enrichment to this kind of people in order for us to help. Okay? We involve their peers, their parents, and the community. Flexible teaching methods were innovative approaches to teaching aids and equipment, assistive devices and learning resources, and responsive child-friendly environment. Lastly, professional environment working deliberately and actively to promote inclusion for all. So a good example for this is we have a classmate in the third year level in the person of Miss Merla Copino that Merla Copino is a learner with special needs, but she is pursuing her studies to continue her studies because of her motivation, because of her motivation to finish her studies. And I salute Miss Copino on this matter. Okay, so let us now proceed. Philippine model of inclusion, partial mainstreaming towards inclusion. That we are what? That we are mainstreaming the inclusion to, anong ibig sabihin ng mainstreaming of inclusion? na pwede nang kaya nang ipagsabay ang mga learners with special needs to the normal education. So wait for a while. Again, wait for a while. So let us now continue. Anong ibig sabihin ng that we are mainstreaming? We are, for example, an example for the mainstreaming and towards inclusion, Pag-asa National High School in Legazpi. Yung mga normal students, mga regular. I don't want to use the word normal. Mali naman yung word na normal. Regular na lang. Yung regular classes, for example, and yung mga learners with special needs, learners with difficulty in seeing, learners in difficulty in walking, they are now joined the regular classes. So that is one way of mainstreaming towards inclusion. Students are educated in regular classes at least half the day, receive additional help of specialized services, and this is what we call pull-out system. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Ang pull-out system, for example, if they cannot join the regular class, they will join muna the program in special population education. Okay. Full mainstreaming or inclusion, complete regular instruction. Ito na talaga yung pwede na silang makipagsabayan. Sa Department of Education, we have the so-called graded and non-graded education. Pag online ading, Marisa. Okay, padagos na. So full mainstreaming is we have complete regular instruction, receive all special services in general classroom. For example, sa Bakakay East Central School, mayroon na po kaming tinatawag na graded and non-graded program. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Halimbawa, yung nasa special population, kaya nang makipagsabayan sa mga regular class and they can perform like the regular class and they will be graded. Ang apod na sa inda, graded program. Kang nakaraaging virtual graduation, ikaw kaming apat na hali sa SPED na nakagraduar na ng grade 6 and that is what we call graded program. Okay. Sustaining program for children with disabilities. There are establishment of the 276 special education and we have the provision of SPED items. That's why po ang ating government are building schools na pang special population talaga. And there is what we call downloading of funds in the budget of the school. Sustaining program for children with disabilities, conduct of training programs for teachers. So that's why we have training seminars attended in terms of special population. Conduct training for school heads, development of instructional materials for children with disabilities. Conduct of advocacy strategies like the SPED caravan in regions and divisions without the SPED centers or without the SPED programs. Implementation of various intervention programs, early intervention transition program, and the Head Start program. So let me ask you now, with this, with the special features presented of the inclusive education, are you going to teach? Halimbawa, ngaya, ika ngaya, ano, Johnny, na-assign ka ngayon sa tinaramang ka, daing bakante sa Ellen. Ang may bakante is PED. Are you going to teach? Sige daw. And why? O, sige, answer. Please comment in the comment section. Putik naman ni Johnny. Yes, sabi ni Johnny. Of course, yes. Okay, confidently beautiful ang simbag ni Johnny. Okay, very good. Why, Johnny? Because because they need me. Wow, Shala. Okay, so thank you. Sino pa ang may sagot? Kung halimbawa walang bakante sa regular class and ang may bakante lang yung ano. Okay, anyone? Wala na. Okay, let us proceed. Kung wala nang may sasagot. Let us now proceed to the indigenous people education. Ito yung yung mga kapatid natin din sa mga AITA. Okay, so sila yung mga IPs, IPED, ang kanilang education. Indigenous people education, we are there to provide access to quality basic education, to ensure the preservation, recognition, promotion, and protection of the rights of indigenous people. Take note of the word preservation, recognition, promotion, and protection. Okay, so they are still part of human. Nakakamo ano? Anong okay. So next is launching of the Philippines response to indigenous people and Muslim education, conduct of implementation planning activities for the national and regional clusters, and celebrating IP Month in October. So IP, Indigenous People Month. Ito naman yung program sa Muslim, the Madrasa Education. Same thing to provide the preservation, recognition, promotion, and protection among our Muslim learners. That's why po yung ating Department of Education dito sa Bakakay, may mga ilang Muslim na po dito, di ba? Bakit? Kasi yun ang negosyo nila dyan eh. Maraming mga kapatid natin na Muslim na nag-aaral na rin dito sa Bakakay. Mostly they are in Bakakay East Central School. Pero ang kanilang program ay hindi madrasa, hindi yung pang-exclusive sa Muslim. Ang kanilang program, kung ano na ang program sa DepEd Bicol or DepEd Albay, yun din ang kanilang tinitake. Okay. Wala silang katulad nitong madrasa na exclusive lang talaga ito sa mga Muslim children. The Madrasa Curriculum for Kindergarten, which is the Tadereya, implementation of the Madrasa Curriculum in the elementary level, curriculum in the secondary level, and also in the teacher education program. Last one is yung street children education, enhancing the implementation of the Cariton classroom na inspired by Efren Pina Florida as Hero of the Year, conducting stock-taking activities in selected sites that will implement the program. So ito yung naging sikat din po ito, si Efren Pina Florida. with his advocacy in terms of education. Meron ding education for children sexually abused. Anong tawag sa kanilang program? They are doing the personal safety lessons. Kasi gusto ng gobyernong manumbalik ang pagtingin ng mga biktima ng panggagahasa. Gusto nilang manumbalik din uli ang tingin nila sa kanilang sarili. That's why, commonly saan itong nangyayari? Nangyayari to commonly sa mga bahay, ano po, tuluyan nila, ng mga bahay ampunan also, and mostly sa mga DSWD centers para po manumbalik ang tingin nila sa kanilang sarili. Ongoing training of trainers for the basic education levels and coordination with the agencies to ensure the welfare of the sector. And we also have the MISOSA, Modified In-School and Off-School Approach for elementary, and we have the Open High School program for secondary. Saan lang po mayroong Open High School? Ang mayroong Open High School, Pag-asa National High School. Ano ba itong Open High School? Ang Open High School ay sila yung, halimbawa ako, katulong po ako, ang program ko panggabi. So katulad sa atin sa Bakakay, wala pa naman ditong Open High. Ang may Open High School, Pag-asa and Daraga High. Meron silang Open High. Magtatrabaho yung high school. Sa atin sa college, marami din tayo mga working students. Most of you, most of us, katulad din sa amin nung ako'y nasa Bicol University. I'm also working while I'm having the formal classes in Bicol University. Pero iba naman yung sa high school. Yung high school kasi, sila yung mga di nakapagtapos ng high school na gustong mag-pursue ng studies. So ang kanilang program pa rin, mga pang-alternative education. So meaning, ang alternative modalities katulad ng modular, online distance learning, or what we call the blended learning, ay matagal na po sa sistema ng DepEd. Mas na-intensify lang po ngayon na mayroong pandemic. Okay. So yan po. Another one is alternative delivery modes in pictures. Ito po sila. Okay. Bakit pinapayagan po ito ngayon na picture na pinapakita ko sa inyo ngayon? Kasi ginagamit natin sa lecture, sa lesson. Pero in posting pictures na mga, halimbawa ngaya si Danilo. Example to si Danilo. Si Danilo ngaya, maestro ngaya siya sa SPED. Dahil siya pwede mag-post sa Facebook na nahihiling ang pandok ang mga eskwela kay puhan takpan ki emoji. Okay po, nasabutan. Bakit? It is also following the Data Privacy Act and also yung privacy ng bata. Especially, we are dealing with high school and elementary learners. Current issues and challenges, increasing the holding power of schools over these children and making existing resources and other support system adaptable and suitable to the needs of inclusive education. Mobilizing parents and other duty bearers in supporting inclusive education and providing post-school support to fully integrate and enable disadvantaged children to participate in gainful employment or productive work. So, mobilizing parents. Anong nahalata nyo ngayong panahong may pandemic? Di ba? Nirereklamo ang mga teachers na hindi naman daw nagtuturo pero may sweldo. Bakit? Because these parents are mobilized as learning facilitators or home partners. Wala naman tayong magagawa. Di ba? Wala naman tayong magagawa mga teachers. Kasi kahit kami, ay ako nga, kung itatanungin ako, I wanted to have the face-to-face classes because ako talaga, kapag sa college kang inot, gusto ko magpara klase, di ako magpara absent, para turuan, ma-coach na maray ang mga estudyante. Wala man kaining binuya. Kung po pwede pa lang na in just gusto tanang magbaralik, So, talagang difícil. Ang iba naman namuyana ngayon. Ina si Mr. Barnedo, kung muyana niyang magbalik sa eskwela. Na-example ka din, di bala. Okay. So, let us now proceed. Patapos na tayo. Another the lesson learned is we have the social, economic, and financial aspects. We benefit from this that create positive social and attitudinal change in both regular and disadvantaged children. We wanted to reduce and eliminate prejudices against disabled children. Bakit? Bumababa na po ang kanilang mga self-image, self-esteem, self-confidence. So wag na nating dagdagan pa, sana nakikinig sa akin ngayon si Merla Copino. Merla, gusto ko lang ikaw example, Merla, ha? Bagay na bagay kasi Merla ang personality in our subject, the foundation of special Si Merla, talagang gumagawa siya ng paraan kung how she will communicate sa Rocky or other professors or instructors. Dahil hindi siya makakita, so what she did is sending a voice clip to yun ang maganda. So what I did is to uplift her self-esteem and self-confidence that she can finish her studies. O Merla, konting panahon na lang, graduate ka na, di ba? Third year na rin siya, di ba? So may congratulations to you. Keep it up. So another one is growth in social cognition, encouraging greater participation in social progress. And the challenge is the inclusion may result in overcrowding and lowering of quality education. That is a big challenge for all of us, even this time of pandemic, how we can give quality education. Pasalamat ka mo, taday kitang face-to-face, ta kung may face-to-face kita, ang quality education talaga, manganganaan ka mo kay Mr. Rabino sa mga katarayan at katarayan at pagka-istrikto. Pero ngayon may pandemic, anghel-anghelan. Pero kung tunay talagang ay bala ka mo. Another one, last is the economic benefits leads to higher participation rate, and there is higher simple and functional literacy, and there is higher employment participation. Because nowadays, even Jollibee, food corporations are accepting persons with disabilities. Other food chains also, maraming mga trabaho ngayon na tumatanggap na rin ng mga persons with disabilities. So meaning, walang pinipili. Also part of the inclusive program of the government. Inclusion education entails additional resources over and above those provided to regular schools. Per pupil cost is relatively higher than the regular pupil. So what are the proposed initiatives or recommendations? We wanted to ensure education through early learning intervention. That's why po, kanina may nag-comment na mayroong tinatawag na early childhood development. And that is very good. Ano po? Sino nag-comment nun? Basta may nag-comment kanina, nabasa ko sa comment section. Rationalizing the establishments of more centers like the special education centers, community centers. So, ang mga central schools, igwa ng mga SPED centers. Capability building for teachers. So, lahat ng teachers nag-undergo ng training. Especially sa sign language. So, sana isa maipopropose ko, sana maano kita na magkaigo kita webinar on sign languages. Lalo na sa mga teachers from the SPED centers. Okay. So, inclusion means, let us remember, letter I, integration. Anong ibig sabihin ng integration? Yung sinabi ko kanina, na yung kaya ng makipagsabayan sa regular class, they will be integrated. Networking, bako inisu power ha, yung networking na means linkages. We are linking programs from the government offices. Collaboration. Ang special population is a collaboration of the parents, teachers, and school. L, living, learning, and loving. Gusto ko to, yung letter L. Living, learning, and loving. So let us love this kind of learners. Yung U, utilizing all available resources. S, support and social services. I, implementation of appropriate programs. O, organization of appropriate services. And N, non-stop services to all. Yan. Itong pinaka-the best, yung non-stop services to all. Dapat di tumitigil ang tulong natin sa mga ganitong uri ng tao. Another example na ibibigay ko sa inyo, si Teng. Nakikilala niyo si Teng? Yung ano dyan sa may tricycle parada. Okay, gusto ko ang ugali niya. He is getting regularly his modules sa SPED, sa BEX. Oh. Kung nagagawa ng mga taong katulad nila, bakit di magawa ng kompletong tao? Kompleto ang pangangatawan, kompleto ang mata, di ba? Kung nagagawa nila, bakit di magawa ng mga normal or regular or bakit? This is a big challenge for all of us na binibigay ng mga learners with special needs. Okay? To end the discussion is the challenge for educators is to find ways of sharing expertise and provide wider educational opportunities for the full implementation of inclusive education. So that's why po we are trained sa ganitong sa ganitong subject. I am the one represented Zamora Memorial College in the training given by Bicol University in Foundation of Special and Inclusive Education. Bakit? This is a big challenge for me since I am not handling the special population education in the elementary level or in the secondary level, but still I am doing my best also to deliver lessons, lalo na ngayong may pandemic. Ano po? So hoping na makuha na natin yung modules within this week para po makapagsimula na kayo Okay? Oh, inuulit namin yung mga hindi pa nakakapasok sa LMS. Lahat naman mayroong account, hindi nyo lang sinisearch. Kaya palagi ako naiinis na nag-message sa akin na tulungan daw. Napakadali lang naman. You just search your name. If you don't have, saka ka magsasagot sa akin na wala ka pang account. May mga nag-message ulit ngayon. Sige, yun ang gagawin ko ha. Magtatry ako later sa group chat. Bahala kayo. Okay, so thank you very much. See you next meeting. The next topic that we are going to discuss is all about inclusive education in other countries and other topics that are very relevant to special education. See you on Thursday. Diba?